Hello and welcome. My name is Russell Dicker. I'm the Corporate Vice President of Product Management for Microsoft Teams. So over the past few days, many of you have probably heard about this new technology called AI. And I think I can tell you on Microsoft's behalf that we officially think that it might be a big deal. But today what we're going to actually talk about is what we think of as one of the next eras of AI, which is multi-user or collaborative AI. This is where AI will move from being something that helps individuals be productive, but to help entire teams work and collaborate and execute together more effectively. And this is very personal to me because as the product lead for Microsoft Teams, Teams is where collaboration happens. And historically, that's been collaboration between people. But increasingly, we see it being the place where people and agents are collaborating together. The mission of Teams is relatively straightforward. We want to make collaboration simple, smart, and secure. And over the past few years, we've invested in making Teams more usable, improving the reliability, and improving the performance of it. And this has shown up in a number of important ways. We've brought chat and channels together into a single pane of glass so that you can triage more effectively. We've added threading to channels so that you can have your discussions organized without overwhelming the entire channel. And as part of all of this work, we've been modernizing the platform. This isn't just about making Teams better for people, but it's setting the stage for people and agents to collaborate in Microsoft Teams. And this idea is not just a theoretical one. This is something we see happening all the time in organizations that are using AI to move faster, outmaneuver competitors, and execute effectively. And we call these organizations the frontier firms. And within these firms, we see three patterns of work that are starting to emerge. The first is AI as a personal assistant. AI can help people write, research, and plan more effectively. But most of my colleagues and myself, we don't work entirely in a silo. We have teammates. We have colleagues that we collaborate with. And this is where we see the second pattern coming into play, which is human and agent teams. Agents are added to teams to support the team in the tasks that they're already doing. Things like brainstorming or keeping projects on track, resolving issues, or making decisions. In some cases, we also see agents are driving end-to-end workflows. In this pattern, which we call human-led agent-operated, humans set the direction, but they're only stepping in when necessary. The agents are working together, collaborating, and making things happen. And today, our focus is on these second two categories, collaborative AI. Here, agents are working in shared spaces, and the results they're producing are in a place where everyone can see, everyone can collaborate, and everyone can contribute with the agents. So today, we're going to explore how that happens, how AI is helping teams work smarter. We're going to get hands-on with some specific product demos to see this collaboration in action live. So let's dive in. You may have heard in the past couple days from Judson, Nicole, Jeff, or a few dozen others that Microsoft 365 Copilot is the AI built for work. It's designed to help people be more productive, and it's deeply integrated into Microsoft Teams in meetings, calls, and chats. But until now, it's been entirely focused on personal productivity, helping individuals do things like researching, creating, or organizing. But now, with Teams mode for Copilot, this makes AI collaboration in groups easy. Copilot is now able to join group chats as a visible participant, where every member of the chat is able to @mention Copilot, prompt it, read the responses, and interact with each other. This evolves Copilot from a one-on-one assistant to a one-to-many assistant. So we really want to show this in demos. So here to show this in action, I'd like to bring out Pete Daderko, the Senior Director of Product Marketing.
Thanks, Russell. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be here and get to show you a little bit of this in action, including all of the drama that comes along with live demos. And so hope you enjoy the show. We'll see how this goes. All right. Now, to start, like Russell mentioned, Teams mode allows us to take the work that we're doing individually with Copilot and bring it into group scenarios. So for the demos today, let's imagine that we are part of an athletic wear company called 𝗦𝗲𝘀𝗀𝗶cie and we are about to launch our new line of 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀fabric, which coincidentally, all those t-shirts that were handed out at the keynote were made out of. So now, before we do this launch, I want to actually do a bit of research into the product and some of the trends that are happening in this smart fabric space. And so you can see I've gone ahead and I've already done a bit of research with Copilot, all the information that you'd expect from a Copilot research project. But now I'm going to use Teams mode and actually expand it. And so I'm just going to simply start a group chat here in Teams. I'm going to include my colleague 𝗬𝗂 and select how many of the messages I want to share. So in the past, I would really have to hack this together. I would start a bunch of research in Copilot. I would copy and paste it into group chat and Teams. And then if my colleagues wanted to actually iterate on it or give me some feedback, I would have to bring it back to Copilot, rerun the research. No more. So now, with Teams mode, you can actually see that I've started this chat with Copilot and 𝗬𝗂 right here in the conversation. And so Copilot has repeated all of the research, and so I can even just let 𝗬𝗂 know that this is the research we were discussing earlier. And so now what's great is 𝗬𝗂 has all the visibility into what I've been doing research on. She can bring in her own questions. We can have conversations about it. In fact, you can see she even had the ability to prompt Copilot herself. And so now we can all get at this joint understanding of what we're working on. And so we can build on this conversation. So now we're really collaborating with AI as opposed to working in silos. But I can also add Copilot to existing chats that I have. So for example, I'll take this ads conversation. We got some more budget, coincidentally, and we're going to run some ads. And so now myself and the social team are going to work together on how to actually run this. I don't have the time to come up with a bunch of new taglines, so I'm going to put Copilot to work here. I'll say Copilot. Create 5 taglines for 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀. And so now, again, I'm asking Copilot, the same Copilot I use for my individual work, but now not only can I see it, the social team can see it as well. And so Copilot is going to do some of the brainstorming for us, and we can all be working from the same sheet of music as we're moving ahead on this. We'll give it a moment. This is when Copilot, being a slower typer than me, really shows itself. OK, so one of the other benefits is that Copilot will actually it can understand what I have access to, and it can understand what other individuals have access to. And so before it actually exposes all of the insight, it's going to prompt me to approve or reject this response. And so you can see here, this is basically some pretty benign content. I'm going to go ahead and permit this. And now everyone in the conversation can see this. And at the same time, my privacy was really respected. And so now we're taking this concept of individual AI and making it much more collaborative. So Copilot is really just the start here. But if we think about agents that have specialized skills and specialized knowledge, we can really expand and create new ways to collaborate. And so to start, I know everyone would love to have more productive meetings and ideally fewer meetings as well. And so let me show you how Facilitator and Teams meetings can really help with that goal. Now, there's already a meeting in progress. I can see here that I've been mentioned several times. And so Facilitator is subtly nudging me to join the meeting. And so I'm going to go ahead and join that right here. And I will try to not blow out everyone's eardrums by not using audio. Here we go. All right, so if you're like me, when you jump into a meeting kind of midstream, it can be a little bit disorienting. You don't know what's been happening already. You don't know what topics we're on. But the first thing that I notice here is that Facilitator has actually identified the agenda items that my colleagues proposed in the chat. And so it's actually going to create these at the top of the screen in this nice tracker. And so now I know where we're at, what the topics are, what's been discussed, and what's next. But I actually want to go ahead and add another agenda item. And so I'm going to simply work with the Facilitator to do that. So say Facilitator, add one more agenda item for success metrics. And I'm going to say allocate 30 minutes to it. there's a lot to discuss, so we need a full 30 minutes here. And so what you'll see is Facilitator is actually going to take the topic I just added, add it up to the top here, and redistribute the time associated for it. And so in a moment, you'll see that pop up. Perfect. And so now I have hijacked a little bit of the agenda. I'm going to take 30 minutes. We're going to talk about success metrics. Super. So the other thing is, during the course of this discussion, my colleagues realized that they want to take kind of the rich conversation they've been having and turn it into a strategy document. We know that we need to generate one anyway. There's been a really rich discussion that we can base this off of. And so now you can actually ask Facilitator to create a document for you, either in a Loop component or in a Word doc. And so now I can see my colleagues simply asked Facilitator to create a one-pager on our strategy, and here it is in the chat. I'll go ahead and open up, and you can see this. So not only is it adding tasks to our agenda, it's actually doing a lot of the work for us, which is great. That's what we want. And you can see this is a pretty good start draft for a strategy document, just based on what was happening in the first few minutes of the conversation. Of course, this is a Word document. We can continue to iterate on this and make updates to it, but it's really nice to not have to deal with that blank page. So now, there's also been a lot of tasks that have come up during the course of the meeting. Hopefully, not too many associated with me, but of course I can see it in the notes. But I can also add some more tasks. I know things like that I'm on the hook for, like, for example, I'm going to have Facilitator create a task for me to brief PR. So add a PR. And so now we're concentrating, we're capturing all of the tasks and action items that are coming during the course of the meeting. Facilitator is going to be smart enough to set the due date on it, to assign it to me. And the great part is this is all built on Planner. And so now when we have this task that's created, perfect. I can see, obviously I have not started it yet, but it's assigned to me and it's due on the 21st. And so all of it can be exposed and monitored in Planner. I can even have the project manager agent start working on this task for me. Again, because I don't like to start from the blank sheet. I want to get things going for me. So again, throughout this whole meeting, Facilitator's been taking notes. I can open up the note pane. I can see the agenda, including the new one that I added, notes, and any of the tasks below. So really encourage you to put Facilitator through its paces, add it to your next meeting. Please challenge it. Ask it to do things that you're not sure if it could work. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So that is meetings. But these collaborative agents are really only as intelligent as the content that they're grounded on. And that's why SharePoint is the knowledge platform for AI. And so when you're taking the goodness of SharePoint, you're curating the information for people, as well as making it AI ready for Copilot and agents. And so what I'll show you, start off by showing, is a brand new way to kickstart that content creation process right from Copilot. And so I'm going to just start a process of creating a new page for a product launch. So I'll just invoke this page agent. And it'll get to work. And so now it's actually going to go ahead and give me a proposed draft of what this page could look like. If it looks good, I can tell it to go ahead and proceed. This looks fine for me. Go ahead and proceed. Now, I know everyone in here are SharePoint experts, and they could build a page in no time, and it'll look beautiful and everything. But let's imagine that you weren't for a second. This is really creating a simple way to allow anyone to build professional-looking, beautiful SharePoint pages. And most importantly, it's getting the knowledge into the hands of your users as well as AI. And so now it's going to build this. I can even select which site I want it to go to and confirm. And we'll let SharePoint do its magic. I like to say this works in minutes and not seconds, so I'll give it a beat to see if it goes through. But I can also show you the version. Oh, perfect. Look at that in real time. I'll even show you the version that it just built right now. Look at that. OK, so I mean, I know I'm up here speaking about this. I find this pretty impressive. So like, it built this beautiful SharePoint. Thank you. It built this beautiful SharePoint page in just literally seconds. It knows who the publisher is. It's content aware. It has all of the details about timelines. And so, like, again, you don't have to be a SharePoint expert to go ahead and build this and empower your team with it. Now, let me go over and look at document libraries as well. And so this is where all of our important information, our files are stored, in this case, for customer feedback. But honestly, if you look at this, it's kind of a mess. So it's just a bunch of random files. There's no consistent naming for these. There's no metadata. Well, that is why we launched the Knowledge Agent, because the Knowledge Agent can curate your content, again, not just for humans, but to allow for better, more permission-aware answers from Copilot and from agents. And so to get this started, I'm just going to use this, we lovingly call it the fab, or the floating agent button over here. And I'm going to launch this menu of options from SharePoint. The beautiful part is this is context-aware and role-aware. And so it's only going to suggest items that I should be doing that make sense on this page. I'm not going to get a bunch of irrelevant recommendations. And so what I'll do is, just to start, is organize this library. And now it's going to automatically start taking some actions. It's going to start thinking about what would make this library even better, and create a couple columns here. And so now I'm not doing anything. It is automatically pulling out metadata from this context, from this content, and I can even give it my own prompt of another column that I want to add. So I'll say, add a column for product name. And so again, you can see this happening in real time. In just seconds, it's taking all of the updates that I requested, extracting the metadata, and making this library even richer. And I'll go ahead and save this as a new view. So the beautiful part is metadata is a lot of the underlying insight behind your content. Now, the beautiful part is, like, metadata historically has been really difficult and manual and just time intensive to actually pull out documents, which means often it just doesn't get done. And so now your agents and Copilot are flying a little bit blind. But now I've automated that process to extract all the metadata. Frankly, if your users don't even have to know what metadata means, but they can start benefiting from it. And so it'll start populating here momentarily. And I can even build an agent that has the insight off of this now. And so I just simply clicked create a new agent. I'm going to open it here. And I can start asking questions about this, like, what are the average satisfaction scores? But Russell's already established that Teams is where humans and agents work together. And so I'm actually going to share this agent to Teams. So I'm simply going to copy this link, open up Teams. I'll send it to Russell, because he was asking me about this. And I'll share this agent right here. And so what's going to happen now is there's going to be a conversation between Russell, myself, and this agent, where we can ask questions of it. We can pull from the data. We can ask it to summarize things. And I'm just going to say, I get a table of all of the satisfaction scores. And of course, Java core will be really, really high satisfaction rating. It's keeping us in suspense. All right, look at that. OK, so again, I went from having that completely unstructured data to now this very simple table. It's easy to see. I like it so much, I'm going to give it 2 emojis. And yeah, there we go. Nice spot. So OK, awesome. Thank you so much. I hope that this excites you about using SharePoint and using agents and Teams. I'm going to call Russell back on stage. Time to get back on stage. All right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Pete. A lot of good stuff for to look at there. let us get in on this one. All right. So Pete showed a bunch of great stuff about how Teams Mode for Copilot, Facilitator, and SharePoint work really well in Teams. One of the patterns that we're seeing in many companies is that they're increasingly doing a lot of their collaboration in the open in channels. Just the other day, Satya was talking about how we're doing a lot of RAI work in channels in Microsoft. And back in September, we announced that now every channel can get its own agent that's grounded on the specifics of the channel and help take that on. So we're doing a lot of work with 𝗦𝗲𝘀𝗀𝗏 here. Pete and I are having fun with it together. But we want to make sure everyone knows about 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝘀𝗀𝗏. So we've got a social media campaign channel that we're working on. And if you see right here, one of the members of the channel is this agent that we have that's helping us do all this work. And you can see a lot of the work that we've been doing in the channel already. Some of it is asking the agent questions and having it go out and do stuff for us. And so, a little bit this morning, I said, hey, can you help me make sure I understand the key objectives to the project to make sure everyone's on the same page? And this is, a great way to help kind of get people grounded. And I can come in and say, hey, Pete, let's, take a look at our objectives here. This just works just like a normal chat message for Pete. He'll get the @mention, he'll be able to go do it. But we're also working on onboarding a new member of the team. And what we know is that he's not necessarily looking at everything in the channel just yet. So what I can do is I can say, oh, my hotkeys are not working here. OK. All right, let's just type it out. I can just say, hey, can you email this summary to Mario? And what it's going to be able to go do in this case is just take these very simple commands that are going to relatively be like fire and forget, and it will go be able to reason over what my request is, understand the context, and then go make it happen. We're going to sit here and maybe watch some of this go work there, but a lot of this is relatively magical because I just said, hey, go send this to Mario, and there's maybe 3, 4, 5 Marios. But because we've taught the agent to go figure out how to go understand the Microsoft graph, it's able to go look up and figure out precisely who I'm talking to. Now, because I'm asking it to send email on my behalf, it's going to say, hey, let's make sure you really want to go do this. But it's fantastic. And now it's just going to go off and send an email to Mario with the objectives and the summary of what happened here. So the next thing that we'll go do is we're going to ask it to go, we're going to say, hey, can you go list the open tasks for the project? So now what it's going to do is it's going to reason over multiple inputs that are all attached to the channel that it's able to go understand. And because it's all directly integrated into this, it means there's no switching. I can just go ask it to go do this. I can go work and go do something else while it goes and figures that out. And it makes it relatively simple for the things that I'm working on. So off to the side in this thread here, it's going and doing the reasoning. It's figuring out all the tasks that are in the channel. And it's super simple. And I'm, in the meantime, running off and doing other things that we're figuring out. So one of the other things, while it goes and figures that out, that it can go do, is it builds status reports for what's going on in the channel. So this is a status report that I had the social media agent go build for us earlier. And this is all generated based on the documents, the messages, the items in the planner board that are all connected to what we have in the channel. And you can see it's got the highlights, the lowlights, the current status of everything, and when it's all done. And this is conveniently put in a loop file, so I could take this and I can copy the component and go share it with someone else. I can take it and pin it to the channel so anyone who wants to quickly see what's going on with the status report can see it straight away there. It's super convenient. And in particular, you can either ask it to go build these kind of status reports on demand, or I can just go into the settings for my agent and I say, hey, status report is a skill it knows how to go do. I would like you to go do this on a recurring basis so I don't have to think about it, and I always get the status reports from my channel. So here we have it set to run daily. You can set it weekly. Daily might be a lot of status reports. It's kind of whatever makes sense and works for you and in your project. All right, let's see the open tasks here. All right, great. It found all the open tasks and the things that I care about. I think these look pretty good, but I also think that maybe we should go and have a social media campaign, an A/B test to help kind of understand how important it is. So I'm going to go to the agent and say, hey, can you create a new task for Robin to run A/B tests due Friday, because we got to get this thing going here. And it's going to go off, again, just like I did when I was sending the email to Mario. I wasn't specifying precisely which Robin I was talking about or anything else. It's going to go off and think about it and figure out like exactly which Robin I'm talking about, figure out how to assign the task, and go get it set up for Friday. And we can actually watch it do some of its work in real time here. So it's gathering info. It's identifying which Robin that we want it to go figure out, to go talk to. And then in a second, it'll come in, and it will say, great, like this is the task that we're going to create. It says, oh, it's Robin Klein. That's the Robin that we want to go talk to there. And that's perfect, because that is the Robin that I suggested for this. And it'll go create the task, finalize response, and it'll come tell me that it's done. And again, normally I'm not going to sit here and watch this thing. I'm going to say, hey, go make sure Robin goes and does that task. I'm going to go off and do something else, and it'll like send me a message when it's done. Great. It says that to run an A/B test, it's assigned to Robin. If I go up to my planner board, it should show up there. Let's see. Boom, run an A/B test. It's, I said for Friday, great, the 20th, and you can see it's already assigned to Robin Klein. So that's perfect. But one of the things I noticed looking at all the open tasks was I think there's some overlap with some of the stuff that Pete and I are working on and 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗲. So I think the easiest way for us to go solve this is we should just set up a meeting to talk about it. So I'm going to go, again, ask the agent. I'm going to say, hey, can you schedule a meeting on Friday with 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗲𝗲 about the ad campaign? Great, it's going to run off and go do that. And scheduling meetings is this thing that everyone has to do over and over again. It's relatively straightforward, and yet it always takes 5 minutes, and you have to figure out the availability and go back and forth on a bunch of stuff. And the agent's just going to take care of all of that for us. It knows who I am. It knows who 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗲 is. It knows our availability. It can just go run that. It'll figure out a time that's going to work best for us and basically say, hey, right, we're going to schedule a meeting right now. In a second, it's just going to come in and tell me, precisely like when we're going to be available, and hopefully it's relatively soon, and hopefully there's some availability for Friday. Oh, perfect, 9 a.m., first thing in the morning, and then, great, this looks good. I'm going to go off and schedule that meeting. Relatively easy. So we've got our ad campaign meeting scheduled with me and 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗲𝗲. We're excited about that. We also got to go do some stuff with the engineering team. All my good friends are engineers, so we got to help them out a bunch as well. So we're going to go over to our release channel where a bunch of good stuff is happening there. So a lot of the things that I've shown so far are how it integrates with the other M365 products. But in many cases, people are working with things that are outside of M365. And the agents for channels, they know how to integrate with other products via MCP. And so we're announcing right now that we have integrations for things like Atlassian, Asana, GitHub, and we'll work on others. So what I'm going to start with here is I'm going to say, hey, release agent, let's see here, create Asana task to run a security audit for Friday. Just like we saw in all these other cases, we're going to kind of spend a little time dwelling on a thing that will otherwise be relatively fire and forget. And it's going to come in and say it's going to start working on that, and it's going to figure it out. Because this particular engineering team works with Asana, I ask it to go do that, and everything's going to happen behind the scenes. It's going to ask me to, we care a lot about the security side of it. So in a second, it's going to ask me to authorize connecting to Asana because it's an external process. And it's going to say, hey, can 𝗦𝗲𝘀𝘀𝗶cie give me access to the Asana tool? I'm going to go ahead and allow that. And then it's going to take my prompt once I've done the authorization, and it's going to go off and go create that inside Asana in just a second here. Let's take a look at this. All right. It's going to create the Asana task, come back and tell us what it's doing. Perfect. And we'll just go open this up here. Let's let Asana load. Got a bunch of tasks. Great. Run a security audit. It's right here. It's perfect. It's just in the Asana board, just like we want to see it. So that is Channel Agent. The ecosystem is going to grow in time, but it keeps Teams as a central hub, so all of your work can happen in one place and keep it very smooth. So all the things we've shown so far today are agents that were built by our teams here at Microsoft. My team's worked on them. A number of other teams have worked on it. It's really exciting, but we also know that in a lot of cases, companies want to build their own agents that are intelligent and integrated directly into Microsoft Teams, or maybe you have a product that you want to be able to show up in Microsoft Teams. And that's why we have the Teams SDK, formerly known as the Teams AI Library. It used to be that building a lot of agents like this required lines and lines of code, deep knowledge of a variety of different APIs, but the Teams SDK streamlines all of these things. It creates unified access to things like Bot Builder, the Microsoft Graph, and a bunch more. It also has things built in for like advanced AI features with things like MCP and A2A, so you can have richer content and agentic collaboration and adaptive experiences built right into this. It eliminates about 90% of the boilerplate code people need to go write, and the impact is much shorter dev cycles, more capable agents, and better collaboration directly into Microsoft Teams. And we're really excited to see what everyone is going to go do with this. All right, we've talked a lot about all the different patterns of how people are using AI inside Microsoft Teams. We talked a lot about the Microsoft 365 Copilot and how with Teams mode, you can bring it directly into this. You can start these chats either in Copilot and go directly to Teams from there, or straight from within Teams, you can just say @mention Copilot, and it'll join the chat and participate like anyone else. We've talked about a lot of the agents that we've built, Facilitator and the channel agents that operate like AI teammates inside meetings, channels, to help teams collaborate the best. And of course, as Pete mentioned, the agents are only as smart as the grounding that they're given. And so you have things like Knowledge Agent in your SharePoint that'll help you do things like build pages and organize your content to help make sure that the AI has the grounding it needs for you and your work and your teams. So I would say thank you very much for your time. I'd encourage you to please try all these things out in your own environment. Please stop by our booth to continue the conversation. We love the engagement. We really value all your feedback on all this. And I'd also invite you to please attend many of the remaining sessions this week, or if you haven't already, try to review some of the earlier ones. And again, thank you for your time. We appreciate all your curiosity and trust in our products to get your work done.